I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Fantastic. After last week's hiatus, it's time to return to the world of darkness and chaos. Oh boy, everyone, I can hardly wait. We'll be missing Aaron for today's session, not for anything bad, unlike what happened with me last week, but he is visiting with family. Hopefully we'll make it through today without the sewer rat. So what happened last session? Plans within plans. David and Marcus paid a visit to homicide detective Albert Farnsworth of the 114th Precinct in an attempt to convert him into a ghoul. By storyteller agreement, the Nosferatu managed to feed Farnsworth the equivalent of 2 vitae points, while the detective slept on his couch. However, the trained government official has been elusive. Further attempts to meet with him and consummate the blood bond have met with frustration. Perhaps the man had been startled by awaking to find his door chain snapped, a red hue on his teeth, and an unsettling feeling in his gut. Speaking of unsettling feeling, Marcus has become the target of an unfathomable power. A 6-year-old child. The ghost of a murdered girl residing within the Majestic. Despite not interacting with her at all, his mere presence there seemingly created a bond with the vengeful spirit, and making plans to leave resulted in an unpleasant encounter. The result of which is that the Toreador has been reliving his past. Every street corner, shadowy room, crooked awning reminds him of pain, of regret. Marcus is intelligent to know he's over his head. The only problem is, where does he go from here? Other than his new digs. The coterie remains schismed in its attitudes. David sparks both suspicion and derision from Joseph, who in turn is not the most trustworthy or dependable character because he's insane. Byron might be the most stable of the lot, but no one would give the venture the satisfaction by admitting that. And all the while the specter of the princedom looms large over the city. Carter's been a near lock for some time now, particularly after the remaining Tremere threw their political weight behind him, and many kindred have already begun to accept his new position as fact. But the lingering presence of Marlena, of the Sabbat, and of ineffable horrors arising from the depths give pause to the undying society. Battered from without, weakened from within, the Camarilla are poised to lose control of this city, and perhaps not even Archon Theo Bell himself can keep that from happening. So the player characters awaken within a few minutes of each other, around 10 p.m., losing a point of blood in the process. I believe we are starting on the night of May 1st, 1998. Do any of you disagree with that?
I believe that's the case.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Unless we're fast forwarding, but I mean, I think that...
No, I didn't think so. I don't think you guys were. The night is cold and empty, active yet lifeless, vibrant but hollow. You're in New York City, the glittering jewel of America, with redemption for sale at every newsstand and boutique, where the brooding slums of broken souls neighbor the towering spires of capitalist greed. What does the weather matter when the corpulent squeeze what's left of this rotten prize? Balls in your court, gentlemen. Who would like to act first?
Well, not Byron, because he's still trying to figure out how the heck he got home the previous night.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. I didn't even mention that portion at all. Why don't you remind us, Crimson, about what Byron did?
Oh yeah, well, he went to Manhattan, and unbeknownst to him, I mean, he was looking for the Edward, whichever it was, to see if he was at the club, but it was a Saturday night, I think, or a Friday night, one of the two. So it was a little busy, and unbeknownst to him, he finally got in after failing miserably to charm his way in. And Joseph was there hidden the whole time in the shadows. But Byron just did his stupid thing where he walked around and talked politics with all the middle upper class folks and bored Joseph senseless. And then he decided to get a snack from a very drunk girl. And it lowered his intelligence and his dexterity to 0. So I just said he staggered out, got a cab home, and, fell in the door pretty much. So there you go. That's pretty much what happens. I guess Byron will wake up and the TV will be on. He probably turned it on in his drunken stupor, and it's some dude, Al Sharpberg, bitching about some blowhard limbo or something. Who knows? He just turns it off.
Right. May 1st actually puts us on a Friday now. Maybe it's supposed to be May 2nd. Let's just say that maybe there's 2 May 1st. No one notices. All right. That's Byron's attempt as he wakes up and tries to decipher what happened yesterday morning. All right. Joseph?
He's doing his usual stuff. His
All right.
running around.
Oh, Malkavian things.
That seems fair to me. Which leaves Marcus, who I believe fell asleep at his new digs.
Define fell asleep. I believe I was woken up every hour on the hour by the ghost.
No, not this time. Not this time. It's you might have actually ended up waking up yourself at some points, but there was no girlish giggling. Although with all of the moments that have been happening to Marcus, it's possible that he might be projecting his own sort of horror stories in front of his own eyes now.
Well, as apparently the Majestic moves around.
Yeah, I was trying to make a dot for your current haven, and I accidentally moved the Majestic. Don't mind that.
It's fine. Well, Marcus is probably going to think, I should probably get to work on that ghost thing. Probably a good idea.
Here we go. We'll say it's not actually far from where you used to lair up. Great.
Coincidence? I think
Right.
not.
So, how does Marcus wish to go about the process of the ghost thing?
Well, I think Marcus is going to head to Flushing's and talk to the resident priest man.
Okay. Marcus goes to Flushing to visit the church. Upon arriving at Flushing's church, though, walking in as he is a recognized character, you'll notice, you'll attract the attention of Craig, who is puttering around. Ah, hello, Marcus. What can I do for you?
Yeah, where's Joseph? I have something to talk to him about.
Joseph is, he left shortly after he awoke. I suppose I could call him. Did you try doing that yourself?
No, I always just assumed he'd be here, I guess.
Craig shrugs. Perhaps he does not have as exciting of a life as you, but Joseph too does do things. Craig smiles.
Marcus will shrug.
Well, if you'd like to wait for him, you're free to have a seat. I don't know how long he'll be.
I'll call him and see if I can find out how long he'll be.
All right. Craig goes off, putters to do other things.
Ring, ring, motherfucker.
Hello.
Yeah, where are you?
I'm in Astoria.
Why are you in Astoria?
Wanted to check some things out.
Okay, how long is that going to take? Because I'm over here in Flushing's church wanting to talk to you about something.
It was nothing important. I can, if it's something important you have, well, what is it?
It's something I kind of want to talk to you in private about, not over the phone.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and be there real quick. And he'll hang up and go.
Okay.
Okay. It's, take some time, but Joseph does, he's getting his driving practicing in, and he does a pretty good job of making it back to Flushing Church at a good clip. Old Byron is still going, why is my breath smell so bad?
Yeah, it'll be about an hour till he gets it together.
Sure.
Then Byron's probably going to go hunting or something to kill time and collect his thoughts.
God damn it, Marcus, why did you teach me how to breathe? This smells awful. Okay. In that case, Marcus, who's at Flushing's church, who will undoubtedly be greeted by Joseph whenever he arrives at his haven.
Hi, and I'll lead you straight downstairs.
Okay. I don't know how to say this, but do you know anything about ghosts?
Not in particular.
Well, I kind of have this ghost haunting me. It's a little girl.
With that, Craig's face would probably go very, very dark.
Craig's or Ghoul's voice?
Or,
Ghoul's face?
No, Joseph's. Joseph's face will go very, very dark.
And apparently me sleeping at the Majestic was a bad idea.
I didn't get much information about the Majestic. Does it have something to do with that murder that happened?
Maybe, maybe not. We tried to look into that, but there was no there was no records of a child being murdered there.
Well, well, then the only thing that we can do is either shore up our police contacts and try again, or I can't think of anything else we can really try.
Joseph's been studying some occult stuff. He's got his first dawn of occult right, doesn't he?
Yep.
Well, as a matter of fact, it turns out that, ghosts and spooks were something that were actually, talked about fairly recently, and as such, I'll go ahead and give him a roll at Intelligence plus Occult Difficulty 7. Yeah. Joseph is familiar that ghosts are those of whose spirits either won't move on or can't move on. They often end up being tied to a person, such as Joseph would have heard rumors and stories of members of the Sabbat who end up getting terrorized by the ghost of their victims, mortals who were brutally butchered and just cannot, let go. And they haunt that vampire for eternity, as it were. Ghost, in that instance, can, the longer they end up being around, the more disconnected they are with life. And there's some that just can't be pacified or put to rest at all. From what Joseph would guess, with his basic knowledge, Marcus in this case is only tied to the ghost because he slept in the Majestic for a long time.
So in that, extrapolating from extrapolating from what Joseph would probably be guessing, which is that the way to get rid of it is to pacify it, is to get it to move on, is probably the only thing that I jump to is finding more information. The obvious point, and back in character, the only other contact that we have that would be really helpful would be our journalist. I'm not sure how much help she'd be, but we can call and ask her if she has any information on it, or if she can dig up any information. I'll have to think of a good reason to ask her for it, but it's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, we gotta do something, because I kind of don't want to go through the rest of my unlife, forever how long that is, with basically a hanger-on.
Yes, I figured that would be unpleasant for everyone involved. Well then, did you want to handle that, or did you want me to?
Well, I really don't know. The more help on this, probably the better, because, you know what I mean. The more brains working on something, the more likely it is to get done.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, did you want me, the first thing I want to do is call Star. Did you want to give her a call, or did you want me to?
You can give her a call. I've never really spoken with her before, so she wouldn't know who I am.
Okay. Well then I'll have to think of a good reason. That may take a day or two. I'll, call her as soon as I have something that I can, that I can figure out to get her what information we need.
Alright, sounds good.
Is there anything else relevant to this that should know about that might be helpful?
I'm trying to remember what I know about the child besides that she had, like, I know she was murdered because she has a cut in her throat, but I don't know how much that would help.
Mentioning the cut would probably be helpful.
Well, there's that. Her throat was slashed and about that, and she thinks everyone else abandons her.
The abandoning's not really helpful. The cut may help us pinpoint who she is. Anything else distinguishing about her?
I would tell him all the features of the child as much as I could, but
That's
I
fair.
don't exactly,
So,
I don't exactly remember them.
small girl, no older than 6. Marcus would know. She had red hair, bright red hair, and glittering green eyes. She was currently, what Marcus ended up seeing was she is dressed in some sort of like winter garb, sort of like, it's cold up here. She died up here. Wintry clothes, had gloves on, like a heavy jacket. And rather than wearing a scarf, what it ended up having was a rather jagged, serrated cut extending along the length of her flood, with, of course, the gore stains, the blood both smeared along her neck as well as dripping down onto the front of her clothes.
And Joseph will grab pen and paper and be noting all of that down, everything he says. And then the last question I think he wanted to ask would be, and can you really contact her at all? Can you, like, ask her things?
Like, ask her stuff like what?
Well, the first thing that would jump to my mind is her name, her parents' name, anything like that. If she's cooperative, anything at all that might be useful.
She's not really cooperative.
Well,
I tried to ask her some questions about like how she died and all that stuff, and then she just didn't want to for some reason.
well, then I guess the one thing is eventually, uh, eventually see if you can ask her her name. And in the next few days, see if you can get that from her, or her parents' name or anything like that, because that'll be very, very helpful. Just
All right, I'll look into that.
just remember to be gentle.
Okay. I'll do that. Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you for trusting me with this. I think that's everything I can think of to ask right now. If you have anything more you can give me, come back and I'll make sure. And
Well, if I think of anything, I will.
with that, Joseph will get up and I guess go to a library. That would be the only place I could think of to study, to look for any books on the occult or anything like that. Unless he can find a late night occult shop.
Library, seems to be, a fair bet. There definitely does. Since Joseph's never, you know, tried to look for a late night occult shop before, those probably might exist as well. It's just Joseph isn't exactly sure how to go about looking for those.
And it's not exactly something he would have looked for when he was still alive.
So, and even then, he might just end up getting a bunch of mortals who, you know, how much might they know? Is it like a genuine occult shop, or is it like a bullshit occult shop?
Yeah, so look through books and look for anything he can on ghosts, spirits, anything like that. And I
Okay.
guess that
All right. That's that's what uh, that's what Joseph's gonna do. Marcus, how are you feeling now? What, what approach or what thing are you going to do next, rather, while Joseph leaves?
Well, I think it's probably a good idea to go hunting, and then at least one time, and then after that, I'm going to try to converse with the ghost.
Are you going to be hunting and Flushing, or are you going back to Astoria before you
I'm
do
gonna
that?
go back to Astoria to do my hunting.
Okay. Joseph's research is going to end up taking him several hours. I'll have you roll for that later, alright, Sean?
yep.
And, Byron, I suppose, since you want to get outside and play, and Marcus wants to go outside and play too, you guys can go outside and play. Your difficulty rolls for however you want to go about your process of hunting will be at, for Marcus, it'll be... Well, actually, the rule book does say that hunting rolls can't be any lower than difficulty 3, and this is hard mode. Okay, so both of your hunting rolls, whatever they end up being, are at difficulty 3. You can hunt for as long as you like.
Super. I'll do the general charisma and empathy, I guess.
Alright. Spyron tries to win over the ladies.
I'm gonna do charisma plus empathy as well.
Alright.
So many tens. Why couldn't I
Well,
save those?
I succeed. That's all that matters.
That's right.
Yeah, I had 3 successes. Just one came right when Jordan did his other one.
Okay. Byron spends 3 hours hunting, which will take him at 2 a.m., and Marcus spends 1 hour hunting, which will take him to like midnight. Marcus just go around like bar hop and play guitar, or just curl up in a corner, and what does he do?
Well, I was gonna go to a quiet place and try to talk to the ghost child thing.
Alright. Marcus is certainly welcome to do that. To try.
I mean, he's pretty much just gonna go back to his apartment and he's just going to sit down in a chair and he's going to say, "So, what's your name?"
Roll a 1d4 for me, would you, Jordan? Marcus is met with...
Okay. This will be difficult. Well, if you feel like talking, I'm here to talk.
Right. Of course you are now. Because you and I, we're sticking together.
Okay. Mark is just going to nod and just going to sit there for a while.
No one's leaving me again.
Alright. Joseph manages to it's a library that would normally be closed to the public around this time, around 11 p.m., but he has an obfuscate of 4. He has a general idea of how to get into buildings. It's really no trouble, and there's no need for a roll for Joseph to get inside a library and begin the process of trying to read up any information he can. For the purposes of researching here, depends. You're currently in at 11 p.m. How many hours do you want to try to spend looking for items in these books?
Well, I'm actually not really hopeful I'll find anything, but spending the rest of the night on it.
Okay. I suppose we'll see how many successes you accumulate then. Joseph is fairly new to the whole process, but he knows how a library works. Go Dewey Decimal System. Just give me, perhaps, for every hour you can make an intelligence plus occult check at difficulty 7.
Okay, then for the first hour, 2 successes.
The information that Joseph ends up finding after an hour of looking, there's scant textbooks here in Flushing that would really sort of discuss the matter, and a few that are would tend to be in languages that Joseph can't even understand, but going through the steps here in the first hour, the information that he finds corroborates what he remembers from class and what he remembers from rumors and what have you. Ghosts, spirits, shades, they go by many names, but they're tied to this world either because they can't move on and they can't find peace, or they don't want to move on. Tend to be associated with untimely ends, and where those who don't want to move on have such a strong willpower and such a strong burning desire, they latch onto their hatred and their rage, and that is what keeps them here. And for those who can't move on, they can be, just about anything. But, any ghost or spirit given enough time can certainly build up a grand reservoir of hate as they become more and more disconnected with this reality.
Oh, well then, he'll, useful information, but none of it tells him what to go about. I guess he'll probably just keep researching, so, however many times you want me to roll.
Go ahead, every time will be another hour. You're at midnight now. Okay,
Another 2.
that's another 2. Uh, Ghosts, they're normally incorporeal, but searching through various textbooks, compiling what little they know, they, uh, they, they're rumored to have the ability to present themselves in whatever fashion they see fit. So, say for example, this little girl might not actually be a little girl. Maybe her throat is not even severed. Maybe it's just the mind games of some malevolent spirit who wishes to present itself as such, if only to fuck with its victims even further. That being said, these shades do end up getting tied to places such as the Majestic or a particular person who might have murdered them. Normally, however, they do lurk within the beyond Shroud, some sort of dark lands. It's called by many names. Essentially, it's so difficult for them to manifest within this world, basically, the living world with impunity. They have to, it seems, go for areas where the fabric is weaker, perhaps at a site of great horrors, such as the Majestic. Joseph would reason, and through there they can actually reach out and affect.
So, it's 1 o'clock, and I'll go ahead and roll again. There's
Lucky
another 3.
sevens. Alright. Well, in that case, is sifting through and stacking on book upon book, fully exhausting this library's resources. Apparently, it's curious and amazing what sorts of knowledge and, just random riffraff and papers a library may end up accumulating over the course of its existence. And how all these papers came into existence here, Joseph doesn't know, but he was certainly on the research ball tonight. Ghosts, it seems, Joseph is smart and keen enough to sift through things that sound foolish or absurd. These wraiths, these spirits, they feed on emotion, which it seems is what powers them. As such, the most dangerous thing a victim or a target of a wraith could do is express emotion and reaction. Anyone who falls into the fits of being scared or angry or reacting in any sort of extreme way is only serving to further fuel the shade. They do manifest most effectively in the haunted sites, such as Joseph would reason the Majestic, where great suffering has left like this sort of psychic residue, and the shroud is weak. It's fair to say that given their sort of incorporeality, it's pretty much impossible for even a kindred to affect them. You can attempt to influence it, such as by finding an object or a person who is important to that ghost in life. Or if you had something, Joseph would reason, such as necromancy, the primary one that the Giovanni use, and a few other independents, perhaps. You could be able to influence it directly, but beyond that, for the mortal world, you'd have to find something that was important to the ghost. And they can most certainly affect the lands of the living, only with great effort. Their extent and their range and their power is undefinable. Joseph really can't get a sense, and all these resources here have been tapped out. He can't do any more research, but if they're determined and angry and experienced and old enough, and if the stars align just right, then Relay will know, then the ghost could possess individual beings, even vampires, and sort of have them go through their own sort of mental hell. Sort of Joseph reasons what he can do with dementation.
Well, that gives me a number of ideas. I guess it's a matter of seeing how they all pan out. It's 3 o'clock. It's later than I'd like to start doing this stuff. So I'll go ahead. Just we'll go ahead and give Marcus a call. Ring, ring, motherfucker.
So yeah, that would definitely, Marcus would be finished hunting, and he's still just, sitting down in a couch or chair in his new apartment in a quiet spot. Just frustrated as hell because he can't get anything out of this ghost.
Hello? Tell me you got something.
Nothing concrete, but a number of ideas. A number of very good ideas, I hope. The first one is reading through everything. Everything points to the one thing every ghost needs to be able to continue going on is some kind of emotional leech. It needs to be leeching emotions off of you. So anger, fear, despair, anything like that, anything you're feeling like that, you need to, it would be helpful for you to just push aside, get rid of, and deal with it so that there's nothing left for it to leech on you. I know that's not much, but tomorrow I want to go ahead and go with you to the Majestic and see if there's some other things we can do.
All right, that sounds like a plan. I'll see you tomorrow then.
Yeah, the emotion thing in mind, I don't want to sound mean about it, but if you can't do it, if you can't control your emotions, if you can't suppress them, whatever, I understand. It's best if you can, though. So, other than that, we'll see what we can do about fixing this problem.
All right. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Bye.
Click. So basically, I can't be angry or sad or anything like that. I have to be completely neutral.
Or scared.
Marcus asks himself in the darkness.
Now my question is, the little Toreador curse, would that count as emotion? When you see something so pretty, you got to stare at it for 4 hours?
Oh, definitely.
Uh-oh.
As Joseph leaves the library, he'll notice, perhaps unsurprisingly, given the wealth of information that was available to him, there was actually basically an old-timey sort of like a cult library. Ooh.
Well, he'll note down its location.
Which very well may have assisted in his research and making it easier. Okay, Byron, you've finished your hours of hunting. You are satiated. Are you really? Can vampires ever really be satiated here in the world of darkness? And he finds himself standing around shortly after his last victim. It's about 2 a.m.
Yeah, he's pieced enough of the previous night back together, right up until talking about that last girl. So he's like, all right, he thinks he knows what happened. So from now for the rest of the night, I guess he's going to head on over to Madison Square, see if there's anything going on down there. He figures while he's not a social pariah anymore, he might as well take advantage of it. So he'll try to bump elbows with people and see if there's anything shaken in the kindred world at the present.
Well, Byron would know, despite not having the common sense merit, that New York City is a hotbed of activity. It's been completely destabilized since Calibros stepped down and abdicated the princedom. When is there not an exciting night here?
There you go. So he's going to head on down, see if there's anything he's interested in. I mean, in particular, he wants to know if anyone has any rumors about what Marlena and the uh, anarchs might be up to, because he's still a little concerned about them encroaching in on their domain here. So he wants to know about that and anything tangential to that, like what Carter Vanderweyden might be doing and anything happening with the various clans that are left that are a force in the city. You know, not so much the Tremere, but you know, the Ventry, the Toreador, and to a lesser extent the Sewer Rats. He'd like to know if anyone knows what they're up to. Good luck with the Nosferatu, but the rest of them maybe.
At Madison Square Garden, Byron finds more Elysium security force than he does non-Elysium security force in regards to Kindred. People are keeping tight lips. It's possible that the sanctity of Elysium was a little shattered whenever an unfathomable terror broke down from the depths and assailed quite a number of individuals, even the feared Tremere, and brought them low. And given the political situation, no one's really talking out loud any sort of salacious tidbit that Byron can hang his hat on. Just, quiet, shady meetings. People might be whispering or talking to each other in the comforts of Elysium. It all dies down, and nothing more than small, polite talk will happen with Byron while he's there.
That's
Nothing about
fine.
issues.
Byron will just try to, come off as knowing what he's doing and looking semi-important or whatever, kind of peacock around a little bit, I guess, to show his face, and then I guess he'd head on back.
Marcus, what do you want to try to do for the rest of the morning? It's now Saturday, April, not April, Grimith. Silly Grimith. May. Oh, he did say he was going to go be right back, huh? Well, there we go. It's important. We need to know. What does Joseph want to do after he finishes, leaving his incredibly great and awesome find that he probably would never be able to find, just happenstance across that by sheer luck again?
Probably pick up a Latin dictionary.
All right, that's possible. You might even have one somewhere in the church. It seems fair.
He probably would. He's if he wants to do the whole occult thing, he needs to know a few more languages. He needs to make use of that worthless nuts that I gave him.
All right. Welcome back, Jordan.
Did I miss anything important?
Yeah, we're just getting back to you. What would Marcus like to try to do for the rest of the morning? You're currently about 2:30ish in the AM, and it's Saturday, May 2nd, 1998.
Is it the morning of Saturday, or is it the morning of Sunday?
Morning of Saturday.
Okay. So it was a Friday night.
It was a Friday night.
Marcus will go out and hunt one more time before coming back to his new haven to, maybe talk again. He's not holding out hope for talking. He's just, doing it on the off chance.
Certainly possible. Let me go ahead and make a roll before you do that, though.
What kind of role?
What's your perception plus self-control?
I believe my perception plus self-control is 5 dice.
Okay. It's 5. Alright, it's good. As Marcus ends up leaving and goes about the process of trying to get his hunt on, what he hears is he can sort of visualize that the sort of the scowl, the half scowl, half smirk upon the little girl's face as it rematerializes sort of in his mind's eye. And she says, "You think you could let me go and abandon me that easily?" Her hand outstretches. "I won't let you." Go ahead and make a roll for her.
Spooky.
Let's see, that's it. Let me go ahead and check. What you got for me, little girl? Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Those are some successes.
Yes. Let's see, your difficulty was 5. That's 5 successes. Um,
That's an exceptional success.
as the little girl, the sort of image of her goes fading away in the mind's eye, Marcus, and I suppose you can open this up to interpretation and discussion about your character, since you're the one who knows him best. I'm going to tell you right now, if you go to page 148 of the textbook, you will find what she has ended up using on you, which is something that Joseph himself used, the haunting. The vampire manipulates the sensory centers of his victim's brain, flooding the victim's senses with visions, sounds, scents, or feelings that aren't really there. Marcus has been dealing with a little bit of that up to this point, but she only had a basic success. She didn't have 3 months worth of successes. The images, regardless of the sense to which they appeal, are only fleeting glimpses, occurring mainly when you're alone and mostly at night, and they take the form of repressed fears, guilty memories, or anything else that, we'll say, you feel is appropriate. Seeing as how you're the one who knows your character and his background, his story best, and what Marcus fears or hates the most, or regrets seeing, why don't you take some time, or just go talk through the process now of what Marcus might end up seeing as he's trying to get his hunt on and suddenly outside on the city streets.
Well, the most obvious thing is you might see some flash. You might see some inklings of what was happening back in Vietnam back when he was in there. Which even when he was there when they were winding down, shit was still crazy. It was Charlie and the trees and all that crap. He might hear he might see one of his greatest regrets himself. Relapsing back into heroin abuse, something he really hates. Fearing of himself failing at his one goal in life, which was to be a good musician, but he really can't do that now because he's a vampire. God, this is just gonna make Marcus depressed and crazy, isn't it?
It can have all sorts of crazy effects, wide-ranging effects, but he may feel as if you're going mad. I mean, sort of imagine like the dreams that Marcus has been having, such as whenever he saw like an old like commanding officer of his raise the gun and then melt, this whole sort of curious state of blending of colors, and then turning into Frosty the Flesh Fucker with that bramble fist that suddenly grabbed onto him before he shot a stream of, searing supernatural energy at his face. Whatever happened with that, by the way? I don't know.
Uh,
He totally
well,
kidnapped, right?
there's that. These gonna basically his dreams are gonna be his dreams are probably gonna be horrible. and he's probably going to be seeing shit out of the corners of his eyes, isn't he?
There's definitely going to be that as well. Something that is never pleasant or obtrusive. Just Marcus will at times get the smell, the heavy, redolent sense of gunpowder. Always seem like there's foliage moving, even though he's in New York City. How could trees be moving and shifting right on the edges of his peripheral vision, as if he's being hunted all the time?
And it probably has an oppressive humid heat from Southeast Asia.
Definitely that as well, and always seems like it's raining. Only it's not just normal rain. It's salty rain. Gets on his tongue, and the rain changes colors, an iridescent flash, sometimes becoming crimson, and the blood sluices down the gutters as the cries and tears of children being slaughtered echo from beneath the city streets.
Yep. So you guys might have a new crazy person in the party. Well, craziest person.
The sudden shock of this, along with what Marcus sees, are going to be decreasing. We'll say increase his hunting difficulty from 3 all the way up to 7. As just every time he's trying to get his head in the game to isolate a nice lady and drink from her, shadows from his past keep flickering across his senses. That is
Oh,
actually a
that's not a
failure.
success. It's not a
Well,
botch though, so I'm just
right.
like I don't find a person.
Yeah, you just don't find an ideal person. The head games. It's 3:30. You can keep going basically for another 2 hours of trying to hunt. The difficulty will remain 7.
He'll hunt one more time, maybe it was just jitters, maybe he's just, a little on edge. That's another failure.
Came close there. It's about 4:30 now.
Yeah, I think Marcus is just going to give up at this point and head back to his new haven to try and get some sleep.
All right. Marcus will find that at no point now is, unlike with how he woke up this past evening, is he ever at peace or at rest. Because there's always something there skittering along the edges. Is that a rat? No. No, it's not a rat. Is that a rat? Breathing a cloud of sickly yellow ichor, streaming with pus and ooze? No, it's not real.
Shit's not real, man.
Has it come
No! No! Take it away!
back? No. What if? What if?
Don't go there.
We fuse
Okay,
them together.
That just looks like Bramblefuck is riding the crazy monster.
What if it is? How would Marcus...
Okay, that is a... There, we're good now. We're at
It's like
peace.
one of those... It's like one of those Russian old women stackers you take it apart. There's a smaller one inside.
Yep. Marcus
Okay.
is enough to fear.
Alright. Well, that takes care of the rest of Marcus's of night. Byron, what are you gonna be just after the Elysium, just head back to your haven and just try to chillax?
Yeah, I mean, by the time he gets back, he'd have, what, about an hour or so. So I guess, yeah, chillax, read a paper, turn on the news, that type of stuff, and then head off
Okay.
to Sleepyland.
Alright. In that case, Your characters ease on off or attempt to ease on off to slumber. And the day arrives for Saturday, May 2nd. And the day ends up passing for Saturday, May 2nd. And roughly around 10 p.m., the three of your individual kindred awaken, losing a point of vitae in the process. It's sort of like checking calls or anything. You guys don't have any outstanding, calls, notes you might have missed from others. And for Marcus's case, he might just wish that the girl were just waking him up every hour with giggling.
Can we go back to that? Waking up because of dreams that are horrifying and sickening is worse.